die. We've had one of his colleagues on previously, and it was a great success. So we thought we would bring to you the head honcho of Sunshine Coast Legacy, Lucas Santana. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks so much.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So what brought you to the Sunshine Coast, man? I mean, obviously, I'm guessing you come from Brazil originally, but how did you end up at the Sunshine Coast?
I would say the lifestyle. The lifestyle brought me here.
Mhm.
My wife actually grown up in Gold Coast.
Oh,
So when the family started to grow back Sydney,
yeah.
we start thinking about move up just for the lifestyle, I would say, you know. So we could have more time with the kids, spend more time outside. And Sunshine Coast was the good choice, I'd say.
Yeah, spent a
It
bit of
worked out very well.
That's beautiful, the Sunshine Coast, man. I've been there. I've been there a lot, and I definitely, I think it's a beautiful place in the world. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'll
Yeah.
say the best place in Australia, but don't tell anyone.
You haven't been to Melbourne, yet, brother. That's what's going on.
If you want to be cold, look at me. He's in a
Yeah. I'm actually sweating here. I'm gonna put my fan on pretty soon.
all right.
Screw you, man. Screw you.
So we kind of heard it as well from your assistant, Hafa. Tell us
Yes.
your story of how the Legacy Sunshine Coast came about, because like it's kind of it's your gym really.
Yeah. So actually, I used to teach in Sydney, Brookvale, Legacy Brookvale, and Legacy headquarters as well. I started teaching there back in 2013 until 2017 when I was living in Sydney. And then Rafa was blue belt when I was starting teaching there. Like I don't remember when I started teaching Legacy, in the first week, Rafa came to train as a blue belt. And we did the first class, and straight away we have some connections. We like the same things, and then we become friends, you know. And then I was his coach back at the time with Thiago. So I used to teach one gym with Thiago, and he used to swap. So used to teach Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Thiago take the other days. So I started having good connections with Rafa, and he decided to move up to Sunshine Coast on the same time that I was moving up here as well, because he had visas issues. So he was trying to stay in Australia, find out his visas. So he decided to move up here. And then he was already the kids coach back in Sydney. So he was already doing a good job. And then I was like, oh, be perfect, you know, so we can move together. You keep doing the kids program. And then because he has the management background in Brazil, he did an invest back in Brazil, learn business and how to manage. And it was like, that's it. So you do the management, you do the kids, and I look after the rest, you know. So was a perfect marriage, I would say.
Yeah, man.
And everything being worked out very well, you know. So we've been working together for about now 4 years here in Sunshine Coast. And it's been great. Yeah. Not to say about Rafa, just good things. Yeah. He's been amazing teaching the kids. Now he's been teaching all the coaches to take his job. He do amazing job as a manager, and he still take time to compete and do his things in social media. So yeah, it's been great.
That's brilliant, man. And how would you rate the scene up north there? I know that there's a few comps going on and stuff. How do you rate the jiu-jitsu scene in comparison to the down south?
It's really big here. When I moved from New South Wales to here, I used to travel a lot in Australia because I was the head referee in New South Wales.
Oh.
So I used to do all the competitions in New South Wales, and then sometimes I used to go to Victoria to cover up Gustavo as well, and they come up here. So I've been around, see all the scenario in all the states. And then in Queensland, for us, they come from south, sounds and feels like that's smaller here. But because Queensland have a lot of different cities close to each other, like Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, and they go Townsville, Gladstone. Here in Queensland, we have a competition pretty much every 2 weeks.
Wow.
So if you want to compete in Queensland, every 2 weeks we have a competition. When it's not from the federation, we have the other boys that do graphic industries. We have other boys here that do small comps. Up here is growing up in terms of competitors. Now we have, when I moved to Sunshine Coast, the first I moved here, and the first week was the Sunshine Coast competition. Sunshine Coast, Sunshine Coast Championship or whatever it is, and there was 400 competitors back in 2017, and then every year has been growing, and we have one just a couple of months ago, and it was about 800 competitors, so it's double in about 3 years, you know. So you can see it's growing. Every competition you can see different gyms, you know. You can see like different teams showing up, which means that is more people come up here. And then, yeah, it's growing up amazing, you know. It's people coming up from different states, move up here for the lifestyle. And a lot of new students as well. A lot of brand new guys looking for jiu-jitsu, looking for change the lifestyle, change the, how can I say? Yeah, be part of a community, you know. And then jiu-jitsu is amazing for that, you know. Especially if you're moving from another city, another state, or another country. If you look at Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and in one go, you will be able to meet about 30, 40 people on the mats, you know, and then make link and connections to you. They make your life much easier, I would say.
I love it, man. That's great. It's amazing.
A lot of people from Melbourne have moved there. That's for sure.
Yes, yeah. A lot.
Yeah. And you mentioned about refereeing. So, I mean, you coach, you referee, and you compete as well. Yeah.
Yes.
How is that? I mean, that's hectic.
Yes, you know, I have 3 kids as well, so I need to be a dad, and my kids is homeschooled, so manage all of this is trick. But to be honest, refereeing helped me a lot as a competitor. When I moved to Australia, I used to referee in.
Oh, we've got some audio.
Just lost your connection, I think, there, Lucas.
Come back, Lucas.
I don't know if it's your Wi-Fi or your phone.
He's such a live guy. He blew up his internet. That's what's going on. Lucas, man, get ready to repeat what you're saying.
We always have these technical issues, hey, Anton?
Well, that's not what happened, to be honest. Like we could have a lot more.
Yeah, and we'll get this edited out. That's all. Yeah. We'll get our editing team.
His present image is not too bad, you know. It could be a lot more unflattering.
That's true. What's happening?
So you said
he's gone entirely.
So you got a T-shirt as Lucas, eh?
Yeah, when we went to World Masters, you know, they have those stalls that you can buy stuff.
Oh yeah.
I sort of wear it and I don't wear it because it's like a reminder of like good and not good. That you know, your certain clothing reminds you of certain things.
That's so funny. Wow. Yeah, I only have good memories of World Masters, but not of my performance.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Of the trip.
Off the mat was good. On the mat, shit. Yeah.
It's so good.
We're still recording here. Can he jump back into this meeting?
He can still come back in. Yeah, he can definitely come back in.
Okay, and we'll just keep recording.
Yeah, we'll just keep yakking.
We can just suss out whether we want to keep this part in or edit it out or whatever. Theo hates when he's got to do too much chopping.
Yeah, the World Masters conversation's a fun one. I never realized a T-shirt could bring you that bittersweet pain.
Oh God! Every time I put it on, like, oh God, I remember. I should be putting on a gold medal. No.
I still remember that, like, all of a sudden, like, obviously everyone wanted to support and be there for everyone, and then all of a sudden you were on and done. Oh, Lucas is back.
He's back! Yay!
Oh,
awesome, man!
All right.
So you might need to repeat about the last couple of minutes of what you were saying.
Yeah.
All right. About the referee, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So refereeing helped me a lot as a competitor. So when I moved from New Zealand to here, I used to do a lot of refereeing over there because that was not black belts to competing, especially my weight. So I was like helping with the growing of the sport there, doing refereeing, coaching, you know, teaching everywhere. And when I moved to Australia, was when Marco Gigante left the federation. So the guys was looking to someone to take over, someone that was kind of neutral. So I kind of fit well in that moment. And then they passed the opportunity to me to start doing the team in New South Wales. So I started refereeing over there a lot, you know, and then moved to Victoria as well, helping Gustavo and Peter. And that helped me a lot to learning how to compete because you will start understanding the rules much better. And then you start to see how those good guys compete as well, how they take the pace, how they take time sometimes to go for some positions. You will start to feel more comfortable inside the area, because sometimes you just see the competition from the outside of the fence, and then once you step inside of the mats, you don't have the sense of space. The mat sometimes is much bigger than I was used to training, the lights. So for me, step on the mats as a referee helped me a lot to have a sense of space of the mats, how to approach my opponent, and then keep my calm. You know what I mean? Keeping my anxiety in control helped me a lot with refereeing, because I was able to spend a lot of time inside of the match as a competing as well. So sometimes when I have to drop my t-shirt of referee and put my gear to compete and I walk inside the match again, I was still in the same environment. So that helped me a lot, I would say.
And that's fascinating, actually. So a couple of things, like my mind is now racing with questions for you, but is it as stressful being a referee as, like my first two-part question is it as stressful being a referee as it is being a competitor? And the second part is, do you think it's like a very valuable part of a jiu-jitsu practitioner's game to become a referee? Like, should all of us try and become a referee? Would it be good for everybody?
Yes, would it be good for everybody? Just for you understand it better, I would say. And then you put a lot of times the shoes of the referee. You know, sometimes when you're outside, you have the phone, you film me, you have people around you that can give opinion as well, and you have a little bit of discussion before you maybe ask for a point to score. So sometimes when you're outside, you have more time to figure out what actually happened, right? The referee doesn't have the time. He needs to act very quickly, especially like lightweights, how kids, you know, the match going very, very fast. So it's stressful if you let the ball run too fast, right? So with experience, you're able to control the mat a little bit in terms of let the guys always in the center of the mat, know where to say stop or paro, you know, and move the position to the middle again. You're gonna pick spots that you know is not gonna be any progression there. So you're gonna learning. Are we back?
Oh yeah,
we're back.
we're gonna learn with that. And with the stress, I think is don't listen to what's happening outside of the match area, and don't take anything personal. You're there doing a job. You are a referee. So when I'm standing there as a referee, it's not Lucas, it's the referee, right? So it doesn't matter if it's my student, if he is someone from outside that's my friend, because I'm friend with everyone. Doesn't matter what they yelling to me, what they screaming to me. I need to do my job. What is being right in the books. If you go by the books, it's fine. You know, you don't have much stress. And then another thing is you have the head referee. And then the job of the head referee is take that stress off the referee and sort it out these big problems, these piece of problems they have around the match, right? So if the referee have a problem, he should call the head referee, and the head goes and try to sort it out. And that's make much easier for you to work, I would say. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm a very inexperienced ref, but I agree 100%. For me, I think, and especially because I'm inexperienced, I think that being a ref is actually more stress, more pressure than competing. Because when you compete, it's just you know, you don't have to worry. But especially when there's two inexperienced grapplers as well, I'm responsible for their safety. So I feel like if I stuff up, they could get injured or something. Yeah, that
pretty
kids
easy.
as well. Refereeing kids very hard.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's not easy, but you know, more that you do, like a training, more that you do, you get better. You can start to get better timing positions. Sometimes you can start to predict a lot of things before happens. You will start to know the competitors, so you know kind of what they're gonna do. So you'll be prepared to, you know, to stop the matches, or before I already say to them, you know, keep the pace, move inside, keep inside the area, things like that. You know, so you can, you're learning heaps and then get better, I would say.
And I think as well, like any job, like once you've done it, like waitressing, for example, I've waitressed before, so I will never be rude to a waitress now because I know what it's like.
Yeah.
So the same, I think what you were saying, everyone should referee so that because there's a lot of abuse at referees, but if you've done it, I personally, I will never like go against a referee now because I know what it's like to be on the other side, and I don't think it's fair. I don't think everybody has that understanding of how hard it is to referee.
That's right. And then you need to understand one thing as well. The referee, he needs to keep a lot attention towards the match, right? And then sometimes, like I have done nationals in Melbourne for 12 hours referee, whatever you do working for 12 hours, you're going to get a time that your brain is going to start shifting and you do mistakes. And then sometimes you look into the match there after 10 hours, 8 hours, but you don't see actually what's going on. So sometimes when I was a head referee, I just go and I'll do the work. Whatever it is, do the organization, give the double of numbers of match. So for example, if you're going to have 10 matches, I need to have 20 referees. So every 2 hours, we need to be changing. So the referee have a break. So, and I say to the referees all the time, man, it's your break. Get out of here, go outside, and then come back. Because, you know what I mean? You clean your mind and then come back and then we start again. Otherwise, overload. And then we start to think about the match you saw before. And then we start to make mistakes,
Yeah, well, I know we're a jiu-jitsu podcast, but in basketball, my son plays a lot of basketball, and they are really struggling for referees, and they've made posters saying with no refs, no game. And basically, the way that people are treating the refs in basketball has gotten to a point where the refs don't want to referee anymore. Do you think that that's something we face in jiu-jitsu, or is it?
Yes, happens a lot. We have a lot of young guys, they're asking a lot of new people, that they want to be part of, they want to be involved.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask, can I referee? And then they see a lot of times people doing things like, is your first referee, is your first competition as a referee, you put you to referee the kids. I think this is the opposite of everything. The kids, you should put the most experienced guy, you know what I mean? But now I see Gustavo doing a good job, and have like someone from outside help the new guys, So the new guys is getting better because they have a backup as well. And then I think now is getting much better because we have guys that have been doing for a while with more experience. But every single time, every single year, we have new guys that want to be involved, they want to join in. And then that's what you say is good. But it's still not enough numbers to be running every single state in a good higher level where you'll be able to, I would say, complain with a reason. Make sense?
Yeah.
Like if you see now IBJJF and Brazilian, the CBJJ, which is the CBJJ, I have noticed now they are the same referees everywhere. So now they realize they need to have a close team and they need to travel this team for whatever it is. The day the Australia get like that, it's going to be much easier for the referees. It's going to be good because you're going to create another job, I would say. People are going to be able to live from Jiu-Jitsu as a referee. They're going to know they're going to have those events a year they can go travel. So it'll be good, if they get to the point.
I love that. Because then you've got the same, like, that means that the refs who are at this comp, if I go compete somewhere else, I'm going to have the same set of refs. They're kind of growing and learning all the competitors, learning which competitors are a problem as well. Like some competitors are a problem, let's face it. They're out to really cause damage, and other competitors are, like me, are easily damaged. So, we can learn that and they can help us out. So I think it's great. I see the merit in this. This is
Lucas, you mentioned New Zealand. So did you come here via New Zealand from Brazil? Tell us how that came about.
I moved to New Zealand in 2009 to learn English, and I like it. And then I started training jiu-jitsu there as well. Like I said, I moved to New Zealand. I had no English, didn't know anyone. And I was like, okay, I need to meet people. So I went to jiu-jitsu gym. I was brown belt back in the day. And we started training. And there was not guys that high belts. So brown belt was a higher belt there. And then in my weight division as well. So when they see someone doing like De La Riva, Spike Guard, a different game of like big guys, they're like, oh, this is what jiu-jitsu is, So I started to have a lot of people approaching me to do private classes and then taking me out to bars or dinner, and then teach me English, try being my friend, so I could teach jiu-jitsu then. So for me, it was great because I have something they didn't have it.
Yeah.
So, okay, I teach jiu-jitsu and then you take me around, you know what I mean? Be my friend, I'd say. So it was good. And in 2012, one of my friends that's from Australia, he has friends in Melbourne that was at a gym in Waring, I think you call the area.
No.
Yeah.
And then he stopped me on the street and said to me, man, I have a job for you in Melbourne. If you want to move to Melbourne, I have a friend that's open a gym there they call Sky MMA, and they are looking for jiu-jitsu coach. And I was like, okay, good, I can go there. So the guy called me. I forgot his name now. I'll remember his name soon. So he called me, and then he invited me to come to Australia.
Is that
stay for 2
Ninos?
weeks. Ninos is for 80. So
Yeah.
he was the head coach of the whole affiliation. But it's another two guys that lives in there. Forgot his name. I remember the name soon. And so I moved there. I went there for 2 weeks. And Gustavo was the coach over there, Gustavo Faciroli. But he was doing a lot of MMA. Have to travel to, I think was to Philippines or Singapore to competing. So he was off, flying in, flying out. And they need someone to take over of the gym, you know. And then I went there for 2 weeks. And then here in Melbourne, you guys was a little bit as well, have a lot of black belts coming from everywhere, you know. And then I remember when I arrived there, the boys drive me around off of the gyms to test me to see if I was black belt.
Yeah.
So they took me to roll with Kid Dale. They took me to roll with Cia Paulista with Portuguese, you know, just to see how I was going. And they're like, I know he's legit. He can come over.
Wow.
And they helped me. Yeah. And they helped me with the visa to come over to Australia from New Zealand to here. And then I got everything sorted out. And my wife got a job in Sydney at the same time, you know. And then you think about, okay, we're going to Melbourne now or go to Sydney. And then she was getting paid much more than me, you know. So I was like, all right, your job is better than mine. I have your friends in Sydney as well. So we're going to Sydney and then figure out what to do there. And then was when I went to start training with Thiago, because my house when I moved to Sydney was in the same street of Legacy headquarters. So I started going there just to have some roles. And then Thiago had to go to Brazil to do something with his family. And he's invited me. He said to me, oh man, I don't know what's your idea. I don't know if you're gonna open a gym here. If you're gonna open your gym here, very good to you, but don't come training here anymore. You know what I mean? Because I'll be out. You can come sometimes in the open mats, but don't stay stick in the gym, right? But if you want to be part of the legacy, I need to go to Brazil. I only have Caio, which was brown belt back in the days, and I need someone to help him. And then everybody likes you. If you want to stay, you're more than welcome to become a part of legacy. And then I was without a job in that time now because I chose to come with my wife. He lost the job in Melbourne. And I said to him, yes, man, I take the job part-time that time. So I started teaching legacy. In that first week was when I met Rafa. And then we end up becoming friends.
Wow.
And then we become friends and move up here together after 4 years. Yeah.
What an amazing.
Yeah, wow.
It's a lot of going around and up here.
So changing direction a little bit, like I've just taken on a chess coach, right? I want to get to 2000 in chess, which is hard to get to. It's like getting to a black belt in jiu-jitsu or something like that. It takes a lot of effort. And I've hired a personal coach because I want to get there fast, right? And what I'm discovering is, like, the idea behind this is that every week I have to play a bunch of matches, but 4 of my matches I have to review myself, and then my coach reviews them with me. I'm looking for my strengths, my weaknesses, blah, blah, blah. But it's opened up my mind back again to private coaching in jiu-jitsu, because I think, you know, I used to get them a lot when I was a white belt or a blue belt, but I actually think now as a kind of a later purple belt, it's more useful now than ever before. But you were saying you teach privates as well. What do you think about private coaching versus class coaching versus refereeing even? Like, is private coaching better than refereeing? Where does private coaching fit into the syllabus for you?
Well, private helps a lot, you know, especially with your gym, you start to get a sort of size. You have a match that's pretty much full the whole time. Like I have a mat it's a decent size, but when it goes, I would say 30 students on the mats, it's very hard for you be able to go around and fix every single detail to everyone. I'm really about details, right? So I show things and then I want to make sure everybody doing every single thing. The little toe over there, the little grip like this, everything. So sometimes in the class you miss that, right? And then I have all my classes programmed for 4 months. So I have 2 weeks, 12 weeks ahead already done. So if you ask me what I'm gonna do in next month, I already know what I'm gonna teach.
Right.
So it's easy for me to organize all these details before getting class. But when you get a busy class, it's very hard. And then when you go to a private class, you can go through all these details and then in a such amount of time that's make much easier for the guy to understand. And then the other thing is the feeling. You put the hands on the students. And then in a class, sometimes you don't have the opportunity to put the hands in everyone, you know? And then when you put the hands on the student, he feels he feels why you're doing a grip like they studied it like that. You know what I mean? And then this in the private is, I think, is what you're gonna do the last sharpening of the knife. You can get really sharp in training, yes, but you're doing this pretty much by yourself. You have someone to give you some instructions, but you're gonna figure out what to do by yourself. I think it's pretty much like if you drive a car, you're gonna go through the road, you know the way to your house, right? But when you do the same road by bicycle, it's slow. You can see the shop, you can see the details of the street that you don't see. Sometimes when you walk and you look, oh, this house is here. I never see this house before.
Yeah.
And you drive there every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think when you do a private, it's pretty much the same. You know, you can do the same technique you've been doing for 10 years, but you slow down, you adjust a few details, and they make the guy understand much better. You know, and then from there, sometimes it's like boom, open a lot of branches, and the guy start getting in another aspect of the jiu-jitsu. You know, a lot of concepts. When I go for privates, I teach more the concept instead of the technique itself. Make sense?
Yeah. That's beautiful. I know you said that you only came to New Zealand to learn English. I think your English is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really good way of explaining things like the car versus walking. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know, probably English as a first language, people might not even think like that, but that's exactly, I can see exactly what you're saying. Thank you. That's great. And we pretty much ask this of all our guests. I don't know if we've got enough time with you, but tell us how you started jiu-jitsu, how you discovered it. I take it that was back in Brazil?
I started back in 1999 in Brazil, when it was a really, really tough time to training. You know, back in Brazil, back in the days in 90s, jiu-jitsu was something that was not viewed very well by the society, right? We have a lot of people that are going and doing trouble, fighting the streets. So was in the news a lot of times, you know, talking bad about jiu-jitsu. My mom didn't want me to training, but I used to skate a lot. And then in Brazil, we have that thing like skate is a punk. And then you have the skinheads, all the stuff, right? So to protect myself against the skinheads, that most of the new jiu-jitsu, I started training jiu-jitsu. And I love it. I love it. Like I started training and I was like, oh, this is really nice. I was the smallest, the skinny guy on the gym, but I started with another 5 friends. So all of us, we competed against each other, skating, surfing, and then jiu-jitsu. So we started learning very quickly, you know? And then because we have that rough lifestyle, we didn't care about get smashed. We loved that, you know? So it was nice to go there, get smashed. And then I remember the day I learned triangle. I submit a blue belt, a purple belt in the gym, and triangle as well. And I was like, oh man, he actually tapped for my triangle, you know? And then I started just doing triangles. And then I went for competition as a white belt. I lost all my competitions as a white belt. But I like to be in the environment. I like to push myself there. And then once I get to blue belt, was when I figured out the concept of the triangle. And I was like, now I can triangle everyone. And I was just stick to the triangle. And then my jiu-jitsu, it started to get better. And then it started to get better in everything else because I started becoming more calm. I slowed down a little bit. I give up jiu-jitsu, or jiu-jitsu now, skating. So I was like, no, I just want to do jiu-jitsu now. It's much fun. It's making better for me. Can take me somewhere. And then I started doing private as well back in the day in 2000 and teach my friends that didn't train much as I was doing. So I was doing privates and then triangle my friends. And my friends, how do you do this triangle? Is do a private with me that I teach you. So I started doing privates with them, you know?
Yeah.
And then it helped me as well. We started coaching. And then, yeah, by the purple belt, I knew that it was like, I was going to leave it from jiu-jitsu somehow. I just didn't know how because I didn't have the perspective of go overseas yet. But I knew jiu-jitsu was something that was going to bring something back to me. You know, I didn't know if it was a gym. I didn't know if it was become a world champion or become someone that's competing a lot. But I knew that was something for me. And I just keep digging. And then, yeah, took me over here. Took me to New Zealand, took me to Melbourne, took me for a lot of countries. And then now I'm living in Sunshine Coast from Jiu-Jitsu. My family living from Jiu-Jitsu. And then, yeah, end up happening what I thought.
What an inspiring story, man. What about
Yeah, it was good.
As you said, like the skinheads knew jiu-jitsu. Like back in my day, the skinheads in Melbourne, they kind of knew knives and they knew like boxing, like dirty boxing. That was the skinheads game in Melbourne. But did you have to use your jiu-jitsu? Like, or we
no, I'm luckily. No. But in New Zealand, yes. In New Zealand, when I moved to New Zealand, in my first months there, I had to work as a bouncer, security. And I started working in a cafe that was pretty easy. Was like a salsa, Mexican music. And then was pretty easy to me because all I need to do is stay on the balcony and don't let people go to the balcony and smoke. And then one day was a punk in that. And the guy started elbowing the people there, and they complained to me, oh, this guy is being elbowed, everyone. Wow. And I went to talk to him. He ignored me because I could not communicate. No, my English was really bad.
Yeah.
And then I have to think about, okay, how am I gonna do to take this guy out? And then I looked to the stairs. The water was right next to the stairs, right? So the door, the stairs, and the water was there. And I was like, he's gonna have to drink water. I went to stay right next to the water. So when he come and drink the water, I just grabbed him by the jacket and then tried talking him out. Like, no, now you're gonna go out. And then we rolled all the way down the stairs, and then end up in mount on him. And then when I end up in mount on him, he had like a leather jacket with the spikes, everything.
Yeah.
And then straight away, like I didn't think about it. My hand went straight in his collar, boom, and I put him to his sleep, you know. And then his sleep. When he got back in conscious, he didn't know what happened. He just stand up and he just run. He just bolt out. And I was like, okay, good. My job was done. Go back upstairs, keep it going.
Wow.
And then I got promoted for that. So, yeah.
Making a living out of jiu-jitsu, man.
That's right. So what happened was another bar that was much rougher. The bar was open from 10 o'clock until 7 o'clock in the morning. Drum and bass, go all night, and there was a lot of trouble in the bar. So the guy said to me, now you are promoted. You qualified to go to the full bar, which is much harder about to work. And then I have way more hours to do as well, So with that technique, I got more pay. So I have more job to do. So it was when I used jiu-jitsu, actually, the other way around was against the skinhead, but help with the punk.
And you didn't have punches. That's the thing. You didn't have to throw any punches. I think that's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu.
No, I never have to punch anyone in the face. Never.
That's great.
And speaking of punching, can you just show your hands, Lucas? I think you've got the best hands of any guest we've had on. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
This is like 20 plus years of jiu-jitsu.
Oh,
huh?
Kim, come on.
Yeah.
Kim, show us your hands.
Walking sometimes.
Oh, my hands aren't as bad.
Oh no.
Give me another 5
You shouldn't see Thiago. You shouldn't see Thiago Braga. Thiago Braga is the champion.
Really?
Yes. One day in the gym, Michelle Nicolini was doing a seminar, and then she was doing the positions with Thiago. And then she went to sweep him. He put the hands on the floor, and then she looked to his hand, and she's like, "Oh, this is an ugly hand," to see the level is very bad.
I think we can have another competition. Like, I think we need like a hip escape comp, right? Or a, you know, forward roll comp. We need jiu-jitsu competitions. And I think, you know, best jiu-jitsu hands is another category in that jiu-jitsu Olympics. I'm pretty sure that's a good one.
Lucas, you mentioned skating as well. Do you still skate at all now?
Nah. For more than
But
I
you
stopped.
surf,
I stopped 20 years ago. So it was right in the beginning. It was training jiu-jitsu 99, 2000, and it was like, okay, that's it, never more. Sometimes I go the ball here just to try, but I'm pretty scary now to fall. Yeah, so I don't try.
No, but you do surfing now. You
Yeah,
spend a
surfing
lot of
still
your
doing.
time surfing. Yeah.
As we sit here, I had a skateboard accident just yesterday, and it was brutal. I went to electric skateboarding. I've got so much skin off here, so much skin off my butt, legs, my back, like everywhere. And I fell off onto my laptop. It was a disaster, man.
Oh no.
Just get messed up at jiu-jitsu only. That's enough. That's good enough place.
That's right, yeah.
I think we're nearly out of time. Yeah. Do you have any final words, Lucas, for our listeners?
Guys, I just say thanks so much for the opportunity, you know, to come here, talk about me a little bit more. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time, living in Australia a long time, helping a lot of guys, you know, to be able to turn up in this scenario. But it's